create the headlines by his play on the field as opposed to what he says and does off the field. I think he needs to do a little more playing, a little less talking.
CC, what do you think of John Mayer's comments? It takes a lot for the owners to come out and talk specifically about a player with this Giants organization.
Yeah, it does. You put them in that position. They forced it out of him at the NFL owners meeting. That's not typically something he would want to have to address, but he did. But just as because he's a seasoned pro at doing this, trying to build a championship organization from the inside out, he was measured in his words. And he said, I don't want him to stop talking. I just want to stop talking a little bit less and a little more plain, because that's what everyone for the Giants should be. When they asked Odell Beckham the question, all his answers should have been centered around me, all right, playing better, and my teammates playing better. It shouldn't have been singling out any individual on that team. It is up to that owner of the team, because I can guarantee you that he has singled out parts of the organization. Drafting Davis Webb, why isn't he on this roster? So we wouldn't even have another option for Eli Manning, and other things. Nate Solder, why isn't he a better run blocker when you pay that type of money for the best left tackle that was available in free agency? So I understand that we're going to keep the family business in-house, talk about those things that make the team and make the locker room better. So don't make me have to address the media about your conduct. That's just not something as a player that you ever want the owner to have to speak to.
So let me ask you this, and I think I know the answer, but I want to get your opinion on it. When Odell Beckham is asked a direct question about Eli Manning and he gives an answer, he's supposed to keep it in-house, not say anything there. When John Mayer is asked a direct question about Odell Beckham, why is he not supposed to keep it in-house?
Because Odell had already left it out-house. He was just only addressing, what would you want from your star? What was he supposed to say? Oh, I don't want anything from my star. He had to address it because he is handling the branding of the product. He has friends come up to him and say, you know what they've been telling him the last 2 years? When are you going to do something about that kid? So when he gets in front of his peers, they happen to be billionaires, not little kids playing in the NFL. He told them, all right, exactly what I want. So those were Odell's marching orders as far as moving forward.
I understand that. And I guess my question is, similarly, and again, the interview was unforced error by Odell. But just like John Mara's peers are the billionaire owners who have said, what are you going to do about your wide receiver? Are you going to pay him? Are you going to keep him in line? Don't you think Odell's peers have said, man, why aren't you getting the ball downfield? Why isn't he answering those same types of questions?
Yeah, you can do that privately, but in privately, yeah, we tell the truth. But we're not going to let the family business out so everyone else can do that. So, yeah, in the locker room, him and Sterling Shepard, the tight end Ingram, they can talk about that. Barkley, yeah, they can talk about that. But do you know how many times they didn't get off press coverage? Do you want to talk about that? How many times they dropped the ball? Let's talk about that, because if you're going to do it that way, then we're going to point out all the times that you're a failure at your job, because we all have a job to do.
What purpose does it serve for Odell Beckham to call out Eli Manning when clearly there are multiple issues with this team? He knows the offensive line has issues with this team. He knows that they're 1-5 for reasons other than just Eli Manning.
Let's do this. Let's remove Odell from it. Where in sports does it help for someone to call out one of their teammates? So it's not about Odell. It's just how sports operates. Where in sports has we seen this where it really helped a team operate when one of their stars call out one of their other stars?
I have not one time said that Odell's interview helped the Giants. I have not one time said that that was a galvanizing force like he said he thought it could be. I have not one time said...
So you thought it was a mistake?
What? Yes. I thought it was a mistake. I've said from the beginning that I didn't think he was telling any lies, but it doesn't mean... and you've said that doesn't matter. That it's not his job to tell the truth.
So you think athletes should tell the truth?
What? I think that they are walking a fine line as far as we kill guys if they give us generic answers. We kill guys.
What's more important? Your fans being happy or the guys you do your job with?
And see, that is why, even though I'm a very hard person to sway off a point, you have swayed me over the last week about what Odell's job within a team sports environment is to lie when asked about an underperforming teammate. That's his job. You've convinced me of that. Where we are still not on the same page and where I'm on a different corner than you and Jenna is I do feel like the Giants are 1-5 for a list of reasons. Number one reason I would say is offensive line play. The offensive line, even though they added Nate Solder, has been terrible. Number two reason, quarterback play. Eli Manning is a shell of his former self. Number three reason, lack of big plays from an expensive
You're
defense.
saying he's very far
Bottom
down.
five in the league in turnovers forced and sacks. So somewhere outside of the top 10 is an interview Odell Beckham did with Josina Anderson. But for the owner, it is a lot easier to focus on that than on his Hall of Fame franchise
quarterback. The owner has faced embarrassment before. He told us before. You know something? I talked to him. I talked to him privately. He didn't tell us what he talked to him about. So at this time, he couldn't say it. So if you think that the Giants are trying to make an excuse with Odell, we're just trying to protect Odell. They forced that owner to have to say that. And the reason why is because the kid acted a fool on the sideline, and the kid gave an interview to Josina Anderson that was not a smart deal to do. If you're a star and you're trying to be a leader, no one is going to follow you when you lead like that.
Also, he has a history of this sort of behavior. Also, John Mara has already spoken to him and called him in and said something. Also, this follows a whole host of things that he has already done, whereby the owner, I'm sure, had to think, do I give this man all this money or do I not? Is he going to be a leader that I want him to be, or isn't he? So this was just one more chapter.
Why didn't you call out, if you're watching tape, why didn't you call out the offensive line? Why didn't you call out the defensive play?
I mean,
why didn't you do that? Because Eli, being the captain of the Giants, even when Eli knew the truth, Eli has never once, Tom Coughlin, the ownership, he has never once, even when they benched him, man, he swallowed his pride. Man, he fought back tears, and he said all the right things. Why go after Eli?
Well, and again, I don't think Odell sat down with Lil Wayne and Josina with the intention of going after Eli. Why didn't he call out the offensive line?
When you are a leader, you should have intentions when you go into an interview like that. You should need to know what you're trying to accomplish.
And you got to be prepared for a question that you would have anticipated. But to answer the question, why didn't he bring up the defense? Wasn't asked about it. Why didn't he bring up the offensive line? Wasn't asked about it. Like, he was asked a direct question. He gave not even that direct of an answer. He said, I don't know. We know Eli's not going to get out of the pocket. Again, we all agree.
Yeah, somebody asked me, how's your partner Nick Wright? I don't know.
Right.
I'm spending all this time with him. You don't know? You don't know, Chris? You know what you're saying, Chris? You ain't happy with your partner. Right. And you know something? Maybe the first month I wasn't happy with him, but I lied to him. I told him I ain't telling him the truth. I ain't like Nick being around there. No, Nick was getting on my nerves. Nick's crazy football takes, they was getting on my nerves. But what I do, Jenna?
All coming out.
I lied to the people.
Right.
You know why? Because that's good leadership, Jenna.
Okay, but if for 5 years, hold up, to finish it as we finish the show, if for 5 years, I didn't get better. For 5 years, I actually got worse.
I would still lie.
Then at some point, you might say, what do you think of Nick? I don't know.
You know something?
I wish Gottlieb was here. He's a little more mobile.
Boy, things are
Charlie
happening.
and Shanks, it's their job to speak the truth. All right? It's my job to lie to the people. And if you stink in 5 years, Shanks bring down the rifle.
All right. The truth is...